Greetings fellow ukuleleans, Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. Today I'd like to do a revisit of a song called It's Too Late by Carole King. Her great album Tapestry back in the 70s had a lot of hits on it, but It's Too Late is one of my personal favorites. I had an old YouTube channel which is no longer, but I had quite a few videos on there, and one of them was for this song. So I'd like to revisit this song. I have a little more insight about it since then, and this will be a fresh video on an old subject. So this is for those of you that are into 7th chords. If you've already explored minor 7th chords, major 7th chords, and maybe even know a couple fancy things like 6th chords, etc. This is for you. For those of you that are still working on your real basic chords, just hang in there. This might be interesting to you, but some of these might be brand new chords that you haven't quite learned yet. But I will make chord diagrams available so everybody can learn this, and that will be on my Patreon page. I will put a link right down below so you can see it. So let's dive into it. First of all, this was written on a piano by Carole King, and piano voicings are very different from ukulele voicings. On the piano you have 10 fingers available, which allow you to play notes really far apart, notes really close together, and everything in between. So they're fairly thick chords that contain more notes than we actually have strings on the ukulele. So what we do is we selectively cut out some of the notes to make voicings that sound like the record but are possible on the ukulele. So the first voicing I like to play is an A minor chord. That's really simple. Carole King plays an A minor 7, which we can play. We can play our open 4 strings and get a minor 7. That's very Carole King like. But what about that first note, that bass note? I have a low G, so it's a little lower than you might have with a high G. But in essence, that's the first note she plays on the piano, that bass note G, excuse me. And so we really should just do a plain old A minor chord. And that facilitates that. That gives you that low note plus the right stuff to express the chord. But in realistic terms, what she actually plays is an A minor 7. So we have to adapt. We have to do some things different. Next chord, she actually plays a D6 chord. If you look at the sheet music, it says D6. And that's a fairly easy ukulele chord. If you're into barring, you just go across your 2nd fret and bar the 4 strings with your index finger. And that gives you what's known as a D6 chord. You can also call that a B minor 7 chord. There's an awful lot of sheet music and tutorials out there that say that the chord in that place of the tune is a D7. And that would sound good on piano. It sounds good on guitar too. Actually, there's several tutorials that have it as D7. But D7 on the ukulele, it just doesn't sound right. If we were to do that, that'd be good for some other song, but for Too Late, I'd say B minor 7 kind of works out better, or D6. So let's try that. That as opposed to that doesn't sound like it to my ear. Write in the comment section down below if you disagree, but to my ear, D7 just doesn't sound good on the ukulele in that particular spot. So I repeated my A minor to B minor 7 twice, then I did A minor to G minor 7, and that is the actual chord that Carole King does on piano and her guitar player Danny Kortchmar does on his guitar. So G minor 7 is 0, 2, 1, 1. Not too difficult of a chord to grab. It's a lot like G minor if you know G minor, just with one of its notes lowered. It's a lot like B flat, but with an open G. So G minor 7, and then that leads to an F major 7 when they do that hit together, that really catchy rhythmic thing that they do at the end of all the verses. That is 5-5-0-0, although there are other F major 7s. This one's a little more difficult, 2-4-1-3. different voicing too, not the one I particularly like for this song. And then there's another one way up here, 5-5-5-7. A little high for my tastes. I think that is a little high in pitch and stands out and contrasts too much with our other chords. So to get a richer F major 7, I would do the 5-5-0-0. That seems to work. So here's the whole verse until it gets to the chorus. And that brings you right on up to that chorus. By the way, that little lick is kind of an important part of the song. So let's learn that on the ukulele. Open E string, hammered onto the 3rd fret. Open A string, played twice. Played a 3rd time, and then pull off from the 3 to the 0 on your E string. And there's that lick. She does it on piano. Danny Kortchmar does it on guitar. Important part of the song, so I wanted to include that. By the way, the rhythm for the A minor chord is best played with your thumb on the bass note and your other 3 fingers, your index, middle, ring, picking the remainder. So let's practice that a little bit. Just that rhythm on an A minor chord. And then the B minor 7 comes in on a syncopation. It comes in on the end of 4 like this. Off the beat. And that holds and leaves space for the lick. So let's practice that as a cycle. Let's do that 4 times together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it, the verse. Let's move on to the chorus.